Hey guys, it's Angel from MakingBabyTaylor, and today I am participating in another collab with YTMM Meetup. This one is all about ways to save money, and today I'm going to talk about whether or not cloth diapers really save you money. I know one thing that parents really worry about being able to afford for their babies is diapers. And some parents, in a pursuit of saving money, decide to look into cloth diapering. But the upfront cost of those cloth diapers can sometimes scare parents off because it sounds like a really hefty price tag. Some moms, like myself, get really into the cloth diapers and it turns into more of a hobby or collection where we might build a stash that is way beyond what is absolutely necessary as a bare minimum. And so seeing stashes like mine might seem like it's not really saving any money. So I decided to look into that a little bit further and crunch some numbers and decide, do cloth diapers really save you money? So first let's break down just the overall cost per diaper. Now, depending on the brand of disposable you want to use, they can range anywhere from about 16 cents on the very low end to more like 20 to 25 cents and above that. So for the purposes of this comparison, I decided to go right in the middle there with a 20-cent diaper, which is right about average, kind of on the lower end as far as, the lesser expensive brands or the much larger boxes, or sometimes if you coupon, you might get them down to about that price. Now, it depends on your child's age and all that as far as how many times per day that you change them, but I would say about 5 times per day is really the minimum amount of times that you should change your child, and obviously a newborn is going to be more like 10 to 12, but just for the purposes of crunching these numbers, I went with 5 times per day, which is really the minimum. So that comes out to about $30 per month. So, people might be a little bit less than that if they're really good at couponing, but I've heard most parents talk about spending $50 to $75 per month on diapers per child, but $30 a month is going to be right around the minimum it's going to cost you. Now, I know some people think about toddlers potty training by the time they're, 1.5, and that's actually really early. So I did a little bit of research about potty training, and the consensus seems to be that the average age of potty training is around 2.5 to 3, with girls usually potty training on average earlier than boys. My child didn't potty train until he was 3.5, and my daughter is 18 months old and is not showing any signs of being ready anytime soon. So far I have been diapering a child for 60 months. That times the $30 per month at minimum is coming out to $1,800. So it's easy to see how you could very quickly end up spending more than $2,000 to diaper your children using disposable diapers. Now remember, once you're done with those diapers, they're literally garbage. You are literally throwing your money away when you are using disposable diapers. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not totally knocking disposables. We do use them sometimes overnight, sometimes, or on vacations where using cloth is just very extremely inconvenient. So I don't hate on disposables. I don't think less of parents who choose to use disposables. I know that cloth diapering is just not for everyone to begin with, and there's just a wide range of what works for people, whether that's absolutely full-time cloth, absolutely full-time disposables, or somewhere in between. But, the fact of the matter is that you are spending the money to use them, and they have absolutely no value left once you're done with them. Now take, for example, cloth. Now a lot of people, when they see people calculate the cost of cloth, or they think about the cost of cloth, they think about those name brand diapers that are on the higher end of the pricing. Diapers like Bum Genius, which are $20 to $22 for a free time all-in-one. Diapers like Rumparoos, which are $22, $26, $28 depending on the color or the print that you use. Diapers like Smart Bottoms or Blueberry, which retail for $29, and then there's some that are even more than that. So that can really add up quickly, especially if you want to wash less frequently and thus need a larger stash to start off. However, there are much less expensive ways to cloth diaper if that's what you're after, so let's talk more about that. Because after all, this video is all about how to save money, right? For starters, if you're wanting the ease of a pocket diaper, there are plenty of inexpensive brands that are based out of China, Sun Baby being one of them. This is actually my favorite of the inexpensive brands and really close second favorite overall in cloth diaper brands. Sun Baby diapers are well made, but they are still very inexpensive, and they tend to run around the $5 to $6 range brand new, including the inserts. I like to use the bamboo blend inserts because they do hold a lot and are nice and versatile, a happy medium between the microfiber and the natural fiber in bamboo. So at around $5 a piece, you can see how you can very inexpensively build a stash around these. There's other brands that also are around that price point, including Alva, Anon Baby, Shine Baby, Happy Flute. They can also be had for an even lower price point on eBay or in cloth diaper co-ops. Those are usually run off of Facebook groups, and they can be around the $3 to $4 range. Now, if a Chinese brand is not for you, don't fret. There are still some American-based companies that have lower price points. Imagine is one of them. They have an all-in-one cloth diaper that runs around $13. Diaper Right is another. It is owned by the cloth diaper retailer Diaper Junction. This is an all-in-one that runs in the $11 range, and they also have pockets for even less than that. For an inexpensive all-in-two that's similar to the more expensive brand Best Bottoms, there is Buttons. These are around $11 for a shell and around $3-ish for a snap-in insert. These I really like a lot. They work really well, and they are less expensive but still comparable in quality to more expensive brands. Now, if you don't mind using a system that's a little bit less convenient than pockets or all-in-ones, you can get diapers for an even lower price if you decide to do pre-folds and covers. Now, here is a pre-fold. These are around about $1 to $2 each, and it's made usually out of cotton, sometimes out of bamboo, and they have multiple layers that end up getting kind of quilted like this as you wash and dry them a few times to get them prepped. They really hold a lot, and they're really easy to wash and are no problem as far as like bleaching and whatnot. So what you do is you use this to actually be the absorbency for your child, and you put a waterproof cover over the top of it to keep them from getting their clothes wet. As far as covers are concerned, there's a huge variety of brands, so many different price points. So for less expensive ones, again, the Chinese companies like Happy Flute and Alva and the like do have covers, which are generally around $3 or so each. There are also some inexpensive North American based companies like Sweet Pea and Diaper Right, which are about the $8 to $10 price range thereabouts. And there are more expensive options like Flip, which are about $15 to $17 or so, depending on if you get a solid or a print. Rumperoos, which I believe are about $14 for a print. And Blueberry, I think, are around $18 for a print. But the great thing about doing pre-folds and covers is you don't need a cover for every single pre-fold. If it's just a wet diaper, you can just wipe out the cover and let it dry real quick and reuse that same cover on the next pre-fold. You only have to put the cover in the wash once it is soiled. So usually the rule of thumb is you can use 2 to 4 pre-folds per cover in your stash. So that way you can build a stash up really inexpensively. Even less expensive than pre-folds is an option called flour sack towels. You can get flour sack towels from retailers like Walmart or Target for about $1 each. These are really thin cotton, but they really surprisingly hold a lot. You can fold them in various different ways. Basically, you treat it like a flat diaper. So you fold it into whichever configuration you want. Sometimes just a simple pad fold will do the trick. But there's some other cool ones called origami fold, kite fold, airplane fold, so that you can put the absorbency where you really need it. And you treat it just the same as a pre-fold and cover system. You can build up a stash for about $100. So obviously, if you have a very modest stash using a very inexpensive system, having a stash of $100 to $200 in cost is very obviously going to save you money in comparison to disposable diapers. But what about if you like the name brands? What about if you like a really large stash? How big of a stash do you need anyway? Well, a lot of people think the rule of thumb is to have 24 diapers in your stash. That really does depend on how often you want to wash your diapers though, or some people like to just have a little bit extra so that they have a little bit of a buffer and don't want to have to worry about running out of diapers during wash day. So 24 to 36 diapers is about the average stash size. Now when I say diaper, that means all-in-one, that means pocket and insert, that means all-into and insert, that means a pre-fold or something like that, because again, we don't need to cover for every single one. Obviously, if you have a younger baby that needs to be changed more frequently, then you're going to want to be on the higher end of that. On average, a baby needs to be changed about every 2 to 3 hours, with the exception of overnight. A younger baby will still be changed a couple times overnight. An older baby, if you get the right solution for you, can sometimes go the whole night through without being needing to be changed, but you're looking at least 6 changes per day. With a newborn, probably more like 12 to maybe even 14. So if you have a stash of 36 diapers, you can wash every 2 to 3 days, even with a newborn. So it's a nice, decent size for you without having to worry about having to constantly do laundry. Speaking of laundry, how much does it cost to wash diapers? I know a lot of people worry about the cost of actually washing them, and it's also debated as far as how that impacts the environment. I won't get into that since today's video is specifically about the cost savings. Now, for me, I have always been washing about twice per week with my diapers. I switched when my son was 5 months old, and I did not notice a significant change in my water bill. I think it was maybe $2 every other month in cost difference for the water bill. As far as energy bill, also no noticeable difference there. Now detergent, that's gonna really depend on what you decide to use to wash your diapers. There are some very fancy cloth diaper safe detergents that are on the more expensive side. Some people use mainstream detergents that are a little bit on the more expensive side, like Tide, or I use Persil, which is a little more expensive. Or some people use very inexpensive options like Foca, which also works really well and just very inexpensive. So the actual cost there varies wildly, but even on the more expensive brands like Tide or Persil run between 25 and 50 cents or so per load when you're only doing it twice per week. That's still a pretty minimal cost on a month-to-month basis. Now the savings will really come into play once you have more than one child. So unlike disposables that have no value when you're done with them, with cloth, when your child potty trains, you can either keep them for the next baby, donate them, or sell them. You can usually get back about 30% to 75% of what you paid for that diaper brand new. Some of the more popular brands, especially with limited edition prints, can even be resold for full retail value and sometimes even above that, which is pretty incredible when you think about that it's an item that your child has literally peed and pooped in. Now speaking of used diapers, that's of course a way to save even more money on building your own stash. Now if buying used is not for you, that's okay, because like we've talked about before, there are some other methods that are less expensive to save you money instead. Okay, so let's talk about my cost specifically so we can get a real world analysis of disposables versus cloth. My child, like I said, is 18 months old. I don't expect her to be potty trained anytime soon, so I'm expecting that it'll be at least another 6 months. So that is 66 months of diapering between my 2 children, which with that very low disposable cost comes out to just about $2,000. I can tell you right now that even with a giant stash, I have not spent $2,000 on cloth diapers, but let's look into it a little bit further. Okay, so I just priced out this entire stash here behind me, and that came out to $1,148, and that's the full retail cost of these, which a lot of these I did not pay full retail cost. A lot of these I got with sale prices. I also got a lot of these for free using Stash Cash, things like that, so it did not actually cost me that much. And that is on the extremely high end. Most people end up spending around $500 to $700 on average for their cloth diaper stash, but again, it can be done for much less than that. It's all a matter of preference and the reasons why you're cloth diapering. Because I know a lot of people focus so much on how much money it saves, but for some people like myself, that is not really the primary driving force of why we chose cloth. It might be initially, but as we build our stash, we might decide that we love it for other reasons, and so the cost savings may become less important to us. Myself, I would still cloth diaper even if it cost the same. Probably even still cloth diaper even if it ended up costing more in the end. But even with my giant stash, it's still gonna save our family money, especially once I'm completely and totally done with them and sell them all. And we will probably be having a third baby here in, you know, the next couple of years, where I will still hold on to at least a starter stash for that baby as well. So we will definitely get our money's worth out of these. I think when I first started out, my stash cost less than $300, and it worked out just fine, obviously, because I liked it and continue to do it. So before I finish up this video, I just wanted to point out a couple more ways to help you save a little bit more on your cloth diapering experience. So like I mentioned, sale prices. There are sales frequently with the cloth diaper brands and cloth diaper retailers, and especially around Black Friday, they all tend to go all out with that. So you can save up to 30% or so on all your cloth diaper purchases during that time. There's also times where cloth diapers go on clearance, either because a retailer is just not going to carry that brand anymore, or brand goes out of business, or things like that. And retailers like Diaper Junction, Abby's Lane, all those all have rewards programs where as you make your purchases, you earn points that you can then cash in for store credit and get more diapers for free. Like I mentioned earlier, eBay is a resource to get diapers both new and used for less than retail costs. Amazon and Diaper Junction, and probably some others as well, also have the option to put cloth diapers on a registry. So for all you new moms to be out there, if you want to cloth diaper and you want to put that on the registry for your friends and family to purchase as gifts for you for your baby shower, that is another option as well. And lastly, when I talked about used diapers, there are ways to purchase them used. One way is on Facebook. There are several Facebook groups that are dedicated to buying, selling, and trading cloth diapers. There is a huge group called the Cloth Diaper Swap, which has over 44,000 members. There are also smaller groups that are either locally based, like I have two groups here locally to me here in Pensacola. I also had a group local up in Virginia when we lived there, and they also break them down into brands. So there's a group specifically for Bum Genius, there's a group specifically for Blueberry, for Apple Cheeks, and so on and so forth. Aside from eBay and Facebook, there's also a website called diaperswappers.com. It's definitely not as popular as it once was. That's one place to go, as well as some boards on Baby Center that are for specifically listing cloth diapers for sale. So there you have it. In the end, cloth diapers will absolutely save money for your family, I guess, unless you went and bought that one auction diaper that went for several $100s. But for most people, cloth diapering is a great way to save money for your family. It also has many other benefits aside from the cost savings. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up here. If you'd like to see more videos about cloth diapers, I have many more in a playlist for you, and I will make more in the future, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on those. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this is all part of a big collab for the YouTube Mommy Meetup group. There are several of us moms making videos all about all kinds of different ways to save money every day in January. There's even days where more than one of us will be uploading. So definitely check out the link below that I have for the playlist of all of the videos in the collab. Thanks so much for watching. Bye! So Kaladin got his Paw Patrol Lookout for Christmas, and he wants to go ahead and unbox that for you guys today. Say hi, YouTube!
Hi, YouTube!
Go ahead, open up your toy. Alright, Kaladin, it's all completed.
Yay!
Oh, you're gonna have Chase jump in his car.